Welcome to yet another episode of Brand Talkies, a Kadabidi show where we believe in uncovering the stories behind the brands you absolutely love. I'm your host, Tamanna Chanana, and today we are back with another special guest. And it's going to be a professor and a student talk, so I'll keep my mouth shut and let him talk more. Before that, let me just give a brief introduction about the professor. Introducing Professor Christian Ferraioli, a trailblazer in the realm of digital marketing since 2003. As a digital lecturer for esteemed institutions like the Digital Marketing Institute, Informa, and PwC, he has imparted wisdom to countless aspiring marketers. Christian's expertise has graced over 120 international conferences, including prestigious venues like Google and NASA. With a vast portfolio spanning 4 continents, Christian has trained and advised over 15,000 executives from global renowned brands such as Armani, Bear, Burj Al Arab, just to name a few. His journey includes a tenure at Oracle across Italy, Spain, and Ireland as well. Also, not stopping there, Christian is a multi-facilitated entrepreneur, steering multiple businesses and offering consulting on digital marketing strategy, digital transformation, performance marketing, inbound marketing, web analytics, and a lot more. With 12 prestigious already under his belt, including Oracle Innovation Award and Microsoft AI competition win. Launching digital marketing campaigns for major players in industries like banking, events, media, telecom, hospitality, real estate, healthcare, and pharma. His agency in Dubai stands as the agency of the future. And I know a lot of you are still wandering around Dubai, so go and meet the professor. All right, just kidding.
Thank you much. That has been a great introduction. You are one of the very few that can pronounce correctly my name and surname. Christian Ferraioli. So kudos, very nice, very nice. And after such an introduction, I guess that your audience is going to be excited to understand what's going to happen here. Am I right?
Exactly. And I'm sure this is going to be a fun conversation considering your experience and the kind of awards that you have won. I'm personally very excited what kind of new transformation you have brought into the digital marketing space. Just to give everyone another brownie point about the professor, he has written 2 amazing books, and especially this is for the pizza lovers like me. One of his books is with the title The Pizza Guide to Digital Marketing and Pizza and AI. It's available on Amazon, and I'll make sure that I add it to the show links for the ones who want to read these books. All right, fun fact, his book became a bestseller in just a month. So yes, there's a lot that is coming in house, and I don't have words to express how happy I am today to have this kind of conversation. So welcome to the show, Professor. Thank you so much for taking our time and being a part of the show.
Thank you, Tamanna. It's always great to share insights with audiences, and I know that you have a very nice crowd, so looking forward to have a very nice session.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So let's begin with today's episodes. Let's start by having you tell us a bit about yourself and your path in the world of marketing. Where did it all begin?
Very good. Now, I come from the country of pizza, as my book say that, which is not China, which Italy would say China. And I've been running digital marketing campaigns since the year. So actually, I was probably the first person working for any Fortune 500 company to run a Google Ads campaign. This was the year again, 2003. That was 21 years ago. And it was a completely different time from today, where none have idea about how to use digital tools to help generating sales. And I was the crazy guy doing crazy things that nobody understood. And it was like that for around 7 years. Still no difference. Until one day I was at the conference and I met other crazy people like me that they were doing pretty much the same from UK, from Canada, from Australia and United States. But the days they start calling these things digital marketing. And that's where I got like a vision, and I say, this is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. So as I can use my technology background, since I'm an IT engineer, then I move into sales. In Oracle, actually, I was in a sales department, and then I can use technology to help generating sales. So that's going to be my life sorted. And that's what I've been doing ever since. Then a few years later, I started as well teaching, because it was honestly not an easy thing to explain complex topic to an audience that had no clue about what I was talking about. People that they need to increase sales are salespeople, sales director, sales manager. I was an IT engineer, so I couldn't explain in a normal language these kind of topics. And then I realized that I'm going to find out a way to explain to everyone about this, because everyone needs to know. And that's why I became as well a public speaker and a trainer. And then I started teaching exactly digital marketing until I became one of the lecturers for the Digital Marketing Institute, for as well Informa, that is one of the leading British company for trainings and conferences, and as well for the last 8 years for PwC. So So that's finally, I was able to make my audience aware that they don't know nothing about digital marketing. And so they need to get it. And that's how I've been selling digital marketing services ever since. Because in 2010, I set up my digital marketing company in Dubai. And so basically I'm changing hat in between teaching marketers and delivering digital marketing to clients.
Amazing. That actually sounds like an Einstein for digital marketing, because you come from an era where there were people who hardly knew computers and there were people who were actually trying to inculcate these things. So it's great to see that the kind of background that you bring in on the table.
I know that you have a big amount of questions ready for me, so I'm afraid because I'm sure that they're going to be tough.
No, I'll take it easy, don't you?
Thank you, all right.
So basically, we'll start with the buzzer round. The people who usually listen to it, they know that it's always fun and engaging. So let's start with that. If digital marketing is a topic, what would it be and why?
Good question. Actually, for me, digital marketing is the whole pizza. It's not a single topic. Everyone most of people, they still believe that digital marketing, it's about social media because it's a good ingredient. It's a big ingredient, but it's not the only one. You can have a perfect social media strategy, but then nothing else. And then still you're going to struggling to close clients because you're missing the funnel. Or you may have a good SEO strategy with the perfect keywords ranking on top, but again, you don't have any sales because what you think that the right keyword for you, maybe they are not the right keyword for the audience. So it's about knowing more the target audience and then cherry picking the right channel, the right traffic source, and then building as well a loyalty system. So the majority of the organizations, they are not thriving because they get clients. They are thriving because they get regular clients.
Exactly.
The majority of organizations, especially the small organizations, are changing direction so often that they make it easy for a good competitor to keep going, doing the same, and take over your clients. So this is, for me, it's a big point to stick with your main plan, hoping that your main plan is correct. Because if you have not done enough research in advance and you're going to just launch a campaign or product without the right strategy, then you're going to just make the happiness of Google and Facebook by spending massive amount of money in advertising. So that's another point. So again, coming back to you, it's not just about one secret sauce, one secret trick to make the pizza delicious. The pizza is delicious because every ingredient is perfectly selected and crafted and cooked to perfection with a lot of love. Otherwise, it's just about another commercial frozen pizza that you pull out from the freezer, you warm up, it's not gonna taste nice, but it just feed you.
Exactly. So it's not just about keeping the base ready, it's about enjoying the entire process while you're making and baking it as well.
It's also nice. In Italy, we say that once the chef loves the food that he's cooking for you, then the food will always taste better. And the same for me is marketing. The more you love the marketing activity that you're doing for your clients, the more they're gonna love it.
Indeed. That's a great trick. I think a lot of people will really enjoy this for sure, especially the pizza lovers.
I hope so.
Have you ever had a spicy marketing campaign that turned out to be more cheesy than effective?
I like that. So now I start with the pizza and now you're following on the conversation. That's very, very nice. Actually, not every campaign is perfectly working from the very first day. So the beauty of digital marketing, as one of my first trainer used to say, is that digital marketing is very cheap to fail.
Okay.
So imagine that you design an amazing banner and you stick it on the top of or in a big billboard on a street or an entire building covered with your banner. If something is wrong, maybe the message, maybe the idea, maybe the person, maybe the subject, maybe what the tagline is wrong, you don't have the second chance.
Indeed.
And you will only discover if you were right or wrong, maybe 3-6 months later. But online, every day we can check what's going on in every single campaign and we can adjust, we can adapt, we can change, we can modify, we can edit, we can relaunch. And so that's the beauty of it. An example is that I remember a few years ago, we launched the science festival for kids, which again, everyone loved the idea. We had a message for parents and a message for kids. So the message for parents was bring your kids, it's going to become smart, it's going to be ready for school, etc., etc. Perfect. The message for kids was you're going to have fun. There is going to be the robot, the laser, lightning bolt man, all fancy stuff. Again, they like it. But then after a few weeks, we realized that parents were performing quite differently than kids. And then we realized, for me, the kids' message, the image, everything was so compelling. But what we didn't thought about was that there were kids boys and kids girls, and they have different habits and different preferences. And then we realized, oh, wow, we still have a lot of time because there was still 1.5 months to go for the event. So we create 2 separate creatives for kids, one for boys and one for girls. So for boys, robot, lightning bolt. For girls, we took like kind of a like Lisa Simpson in a science fair with the big science book, and she was kind of speaking on stage or something like this. So it was more girly. Boom, we nailed.
Nice.
So
It's
that's
all
the beauty
about
of digital. That if it doesn't work immediately, I mean, if you do something wrong with your pizza, you have to throw it away and make a new one. In digital, you can always come back, fix the ingredient, try again. If it doesn't work, change some ingredients, come back until it starts working. So this is something that for me, it's absolutely fantastic.
amazing. I think so. It's a great insight, especially for the ones who are literally starting in the digital marketing space. I have seen myself that they usually think that it's just about pouring in money and make the ads and it's done and dusted. It's not like that. It's understanding your customers better, build a better story for them so that they also believe in the vision that you are aligned with.
Absolutely.
Here's a follow-up question. I know this is similar to what we discussed just now. If you had to create a digital marketing strategy for a fictional character like Spider-Man or Pikachu, how would you approach it?
That's amazing. Actually, if you are a fictional character like a Pikachu or something like this, you technically don't need digital marketing because you're already famous. What people don't understand, or they think that everything can be solved with a campaign. But actually, I mean, digital marketing or all these campaigns are extremely important to help building your brand, which is what sits on top of everything. So once you have a brand, then everything will follow. So imagine something like Ferrari. You are not running an advertising, please buy a Ferrari today and you get 20% discount. Special offer, buy a Lamborghini today and you get a free set of special tires, special things. No, forget about it. If you want a supercar, a super brand where most of the super brands are Italian, you need to wait because they are so rare, they are so valuable that nobody can get it. And if you are allowed to get one, you're gonna pay a big amount. So that's basically what's happened with super brands or with brands. If you're Pikachu, everyone is coming to you. If you're Spider-Man, everyone is coming to you. But to promote those kind of brands, obviously you just need to spread out the story of the brand. So if you talk about the character, you spread around the story and you boost the story because people, they don't care about a single logo or a brand or Armani or Dolce Gabbana, etc. They care about the story behind. They care about that once I buy this brand, I'm gonna feel like the other people that they're wearing the brand, which are in a different social status. So you don't buy a Ferrari to go yourself from point A to point B. I need a car to go to work. You don't buy a supercar. The top social status, you already gave yourself a pat on the back and they say, okay, now I have so much money, I'm gonna get a supercar. That's basically is the ultimate goal. And super brands, they know that very well. That they need to build this kind of expectation for quite some time and then to having you craving for more.
Yeah, amazing example to be honest, because a lot of people don't realize that there are brands that have been there and there's the image and there's a story and that has built these brands. And one of the things that I literally realized while I was having my own venture, it's that if you set your brand's value as a premium segment, people will buy it as a premium segment. Take an example of Swarovski. It's just sterling silver, imagine. And still people will go ahead and buy it on an extra added cost just because of the designs and the kind of visibility they have in the market. So it's all about the brand perception.
That's true. That's true. Absolutely. I cannot agree more.
Okay, great. Coming to the next question. Can you share with us your journey from being a digital marketing pioneer to becoming a renowned influencer and lecturer in the field?
Right. So actually, every time since I was a kid, I believe that technology can help a lot. Humans to do any task, any job, any activity. And I was always involved. I mean, computer was my first love. Since luckily my parents, they bought me one when I was 12 years old. It was not yet a personal computer because at the time they were not personal computer yet in Italy, but it was what was called an X Spectrum, 48 kilobytes. And mainly I was playing video games. But also this was not something that you switch it on and you can play video game. You need to program something even simply to play a video game. You need to program even to load a game. And that's what made me start understanding that technology is very complicated, but it can help because it can do a lot of things very fast. And I always realize I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna help other people to do the same. I realized it was not easy for people to use a computer because it was a very complex machine. That's why when Apple comes out or when Microsoft Windows comes out, suddenly he make people that they don't have an IT and degree an IT degree or a technical ground to be able to use some sort of functionality about this very complex machine, which is a personal computer. And that for me was the game-changing moment. Still, I couldn't figure out and I couldn't imagine that you can use something like this to help a salesperson. Only when I was in Oracle, I realized that with my knowledge, with my background, I can help people using this machine, and also the internet, which back in the days was something still relatively new, to again help you increase traction, getting inquiry, getting sales, getting visibility. So this for me was the life changing moment. At the same time, because I realized during my job in Oracle that, I mean, as an IT engineer, even during the meetings, I couldn't even understood most of the words that they were mentioning about. And so I did by night a master in international business to figure out what was outside of my cubicle as a salesperson, what was all about. And that I understood that the organization is much more complicated than that. A blue chip has a lot of departments, everyone has his own need, etc. And that's I started understanding as well the concept of marketing and international marketing, which until that time, marketing was one of my enemy. I always believe that marketing was the enemy of the salesperson, because a marketer doesn't know how to sell a product, has never sold a product. He studied marketing, but he never sold the product. And I was thinking, how can somebody like this pretend to know what to communicate if they never sold the product? And I discovered later that there are other things that the marketer need to know in order to prepare the sale. Because marketing is what comes before, is what prepare the client to have a conversation with the salesperson. And then the salesperson take over and he closed the sale. So this was basically connecting all of the dots, very few dots. And then I keep adding more and more and more and more and studying and learning more until I realized the big picture, and I start seeing the big picture. And the big picture then a few years later was called digital marketing. So it got it even more appealing to me to go into that direction, and again help even more individuals with it, and then helping more marketers, because the traditional marketing people, they had not enough knowledge about technology. The most of the things that traditional marketers were doing with computer were sending email. Eventually the creative designers were designing in Photoshop. But again, there was a whole new world behind that deserved to be discovered and deserved to be taught. That's what I move into that, and teaching and speaking at conferences, etc., etc. This has been going on for quite some time, but I believe that it was all worth, even if it took me like the first 10 years of my digital marketing career, by teaching and sharing ideas, because the world were not ready for it. The company were not ready for it. Business people were not ready for it. So I started educating them for quite some time until I got sucked in from this vortex of digital marketing activities.
Right, I can imagine. So here's a follow-up question that I have. With your extensive experience, what major shifts have you observed in the digital marketing landscape since you began into?
Right. The major shift that I notice is that there are too many so-called experts or gurus. And this is what makes the world a very complicated place. Because I remember that every few years, there is a new so-called guru, expert, whatever, teaching you the perfect strategy. That according to him is going to be working. And most of them, honestly, makes a lot of sense. There was one problem that every year I saw different marketers coming out with a different idea. And as we say, every day there is always some crazy guy in the world coming out with an idea better, faster, cheaper, stronger than the previous one. Doesn't mean that's going to work forever. Maybe it's going to work for 1 year or 6 months or 2 years or 3 years. After that, new idea comes out. So for me, the revolution idea was Google itself. Google A to Z. Then people start saying, the future is SEO with Google. And I was saying, for me, SEO is not the future. For me personally, the best results I was getting it with the Google pay-per-click campaign, not with SEO, because for SEO, would have taken me forever to get the same results that I took in few months and few years. Then it came social media with Facebook. And again, everything changed. And again, everyone started claiming that the future was going to be social media. But again, I was getting so much results out of Google. I realized, why should I bother about this social media? Of course, I've done few things. I noticed that there was a lot of work involved to get some results. But again, companies, they were not ready for it. And not ready to understand that because they think that social media is free, Facebook is free, you should get clients from the sky for free. And I was the first again launching Facebook campaigns to promote the major events. Again, people were thinking, you are crazy, you are paying Facebook. Facebook is free. Say, yes, it's free. But what kind of results are you getting for free? I pay a fraction, I pay a small amount, and I multiplied the result by 100 until everyone started advertising in Facebook. And then the market became very crowded. Then again, it was the moment of YouTube. And again, the future are video, the future are YouTube. The majority of the traffic in internet goes on video. The future is going to be on video. And again, here again. And I realized that again, the crazy ends of video is going to be everywhere for the next 1, 2, or 3 years. And there's going to be another one later. And of course, then it came Instagram, then now is Talk, the future is TikTok, until somebody prove it wrong and they find something else. So bottom line, the real marketers, they need to be not the creative person coming out always with creative ideas, which everyone needed. but they need to come out with KPI and points to measure the effect of what they're doing. It doesn't matter if you're distributing flyers by hand, or you organize an event and you get your clients coming over to your event, or you launch a LinkedIn campaign or something like that. So if you're always fair and you're doing your mathematics, knowing how much money are you investing and what are you getting out of it, then life will start getting a little bit easier and clear, including websites. I was working for a company from Telecom Italia. We're talking about the year 2001. So this was 23 years ago. And again, everyone believed that once you have a website, your company can reach billions of people online. And from the very first day, I was realizing it. It's technically true, but practically not true, because nobody's going to know what is your website. Everyone can go to your website, but nobody knows that you exist.
Exactly.
And this happened way before I studied marketing, and I discovered that there are the phases. There is awareness, consideration, conversion, retention, etc. So this was my first dilemma, that even a website is not going to solve your problem. And then when I started discovering the concept of the funnel, this was like 14 years ago, in 2010, I was at a conference and I met a guy that was explaining the concept of a funnel, which is a beautiful concept. In that moment, I realized that all of the money invested in a massive website is going to go mostly vain, because when customer want to get in, they don't get into your beautiful homepage. They get into the product page, because Google is so smart that they send you to the page that you're looking for, which is not the homepage. So again, new things comes on. So again, it's for me is always figuring out what is that are you putting in this magic black box called digital marketing? What are you putting in and what are you taking out? Clear and simple, transparent return of investment. If you're not able to measure the return of investment of any activity that you're doing, don't even start, because there is no chance that you're gonna even if you're selling something, you don't know why you're selling it. And imagine 5 or 10 years from now, you're gonna justify to the board to pay so much money in campaign if you're not sure what bring the difference.
Right. That's so true. In fact, great insights. I know that audience will personally love to know about this. Since you have spoken at a lot of these prestigious events like Google, NASA, could you highlight some takeaways or memorable moments from these experiences?
Right. Now, in some of these events, I signed very strong non-disclosure agreements, so I'm not allowed to talk about absolutely anything. But I can tell you that there are no organization that can say we don't need this. So any organization, they need that. Again, some organization, they need to promote their product. For so many years, I've been hearing that digital marketing does not work for B2B. Digital marketing is only for B2C. So first of all, company, they will say digital marketing doesn't work. Okay, a few years later, everyone realized that it works. And everyone say it's only for B2C. But actually in 2003, I started with Oracle, a B2B company. And most of my career, I've been promoting mostly B2B services and B2B companies. So proving everyone wrong one more time. Now, when organization, they say, oh, this is not going to work for us because you have a different product, different service, we are different. You're not different. When you know everything inside out, you know exactly the path to take to get your company out there. If you're not selling, oh, we're a hospital, we're not selling anything online. Brilliant. What you have, you sell services to patients that they're looking for doctors, they're looking to fix a solution. Again, everything come back. And then I was again one of the first persons start working with the industries, with vendors. Even one of the largest German manufacturing paint, they set up the office in the Middle East and they were not getting leads. So they need to hire a massive sales force to go out and try to contact every possible client until finally they achieved to have meetings, etc., etc. That was a very long way. But again, I helped them cutting the process by studying something that even for a paint vendor company can generate leads and even generate international distributors in the region. So basically the international sales director was just traveling every month or every 3 months to meet the potential prospect to get them involved as a reseller. So there are no organization, even government organization, they think they're not selling anything. They don't need to sell. They need to have the audience, the public, aware that they have some initiative.
Indeed.
And they need to be aware that they are in charge of specific activity. I've been working as well with the Telecommunication Regulation Authority. And when I finally managed to ask the right question to the team, they gave me the answer. When I asked, I mean, we finally figured out that one of the goals of the Telecommunication Regulation Authority is to collect complaints.
Yeah.
Imagine that every organization hates complaints, right? Actually, the Regulation Authority won't collect more complaints, because if you have a problem with your telco operator,
Right.
you call the operator and they will tell you, yes, sorry, we're going to fix it soon, and nothing happened.
Right.
But if you go to the regulator are going to push on the operator to fix your problem.
Right.
So things happens much better, and the telco operator is going to be able to offer a better service, and the regulator is going to be able to prove that one country is better than another in that specific sector. And actually, the telco regulator of United Arab Emirates proved that the telecommunications sector in UAE has been ranked best in the world. This was the job of the regulator, aside of collect complaints and giving fines to the operators, stuff like this. But again, this is something that none in a normal organization, a normal government organization could have thought. Why do we need digital marketing? But again, that's why they need a consultant that help them understand what can be done. Not simply, oh, I have a problem, I need a solution, and I find a solution for them. But even in an open chat, like what can be done? What do you think are the best practices for a company like ours, for an industry like ours, for an agency like ours, for a government like ours, for oil and gas? I've done session for the leadership team of the largest oil and gas companies, even teaching them how to use how the leaders of the organization can use artificial intelligence to improve their company, to improve the satisfaction of their employee. So to improve a lot of things. But this is something that if you don't know that there is a problem, you don't know how to solve it, right? So sometimes my job is to highlight some possible scenario, some possible challenges in specific industry, and then help the industry or the organization to figure out what can be done.
The points that you shared are really valuable, especially the examples that you shared with us with the telecom industry. So I have a follow-up question for you. Your agency in Dubai has been recognized as the agency of future. What innovative strategies do you believe set it apart from today's competitive market? Since you know that the competition is damn high, especially in the digital marketing space, and everyone is talking about it. We would really love what exactly is the differentiation that you're trying to build with yours.
Right. Now, most of companies expect from an Italian like myself that we are extremely creative, which in fact, to be honest, we're not extremely creative. I know personally some creative person in Italy that are beyond imagination on another level.
Yeah.
And I mean, 90% or more of the biggest brands in the world, they come from Italy. So, and I know because of the art, the history and culture, this comes kind of natural. But basically, I've been always working on my agency more like an engineer, facing on numbers, facing on data. So bottom line, if we need to design a new brand, a new website, a new something, if you like your new website, I don't care. If you don't like your new website, I don't care. And that's what makes people afraid. That's, wow, I'm the owner. The company's representation of my... No, it's not. If you don't like your website, I don't care. Even if I don't like your website, it's not important. Because I'm a professor and I'm teaching for so many years, this and that, doesn't mean that my opinion is so important. The only person that you should care about are your potential prospects and customers. Once they like your website, then your website is fantastic. Once they don't like your website, as much as you like it, your CEO like it, the chairman like it, your mother, brother, sister, they like it, doesn't matter. The website is not good. And the only way to understand if your customer like your website or not, it's by looking at the numbers. So there are specific metrics and KPI that they tell us everything. Even they tell us if people are calling you or not, they're making phone calls or not. And it happens with some clients, when we go into huge works, we ask how you're getting inquiries. And I say, what do you mean? How are you collecting inquiries? So we have a receptionist. What time the receptionist is working? From morning in the 9 until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. What about after? After, what do you mean? Then 1 hour later, the office closed. Okay. And I say, if you're willing to use this kind of budget to run this kind of campaign, one receptionist is not going to be enough. So either you need to hire more or outsource your inbound team to a call center that can handle inquiry. And once I remember the discussion with the CEO, they would tell you crazy. What do you mean? I mean, we're working for a few years and we get few calls a day, not many. If you're looking to step up and to change a gear into getting real serious inquiries, you need to have somebody that can handle those inquiries. Otherwise, at the end of 1 or 3 months, you're going to complain that the campaign doesn't bring you results.
Exactly.
Because I'm not responsible for what's happening inside your company, but I can advise you on what you should do in order to handle the amount of inquiries growing. And then do you have a proper customer relationship management, a CRM in place? If not, You should, because you need to be able to verify the efforts. You invest some money, you want to know the return, real return, not the fancy return at the year. Let's see how much is the revenue this year. Oh, the revenue went up, we are all good. It doesn't work like this. So that's, for me, it's very, very, very important. Again, to follow up the customer journey way beyond standard marketing way, but where it started before, where the customer start thinking potentially at the problem that you can solve, and it finish when the customer pay the money to you. B2B or B2C, same story.
Amazing. Are there still people who are still struggling with something like this? I'm just wondering about it.
Yes, yes. And then sometimes we do a test. We even call the client and see out of 10 call, how many times they reply.
Oh.
Because we put even trackers on our campaign, and I can even tell you at the end of the week, at the end of the month, how many phone calls you got from our campaign. And if you got those phone calls, but nobody answer, or people are in lunch break and they don't answer, I cannot be blamed. But at the same time, if you don't make a return, you're not going to renew the contract with me. So I need to always prove myself, but I'm giving you every possible tool to do as well your job better.
Right. I think you are more of like a relationship building agency rather than just getting the work done. So it's great.
We call ourselves growth partners, because at the end of the day, I'm the one, I mean, if you pay me, I'm the one advising you on what is the best that you should do to get results. So it's like you go to the doctor and you tell the doctor, doctor, have a day, give me this medicine. And the doctor says, so why you come to me? Go to the pharmacy and buy the medicine. Why you need me? So if you go to the doctor, you expect that the doctor, they ask you question, they check on you, they make an X-ray or something like this, and then they tell you exactly what you need. Maybe you just need to rest, or maybe you need a very strong medicine, or maybe you need a surgery the next day. So, and that's the same with us. So if you engage with us, we're the one advising you in the best possible way for you to grow. So we deal with all of our clients like they are my own brother and sisters, not just a company partner, like brother and sister. So we advise them on their best in order for them to grow. Now, if they take even 20% of our advice, it's going to be a success.
That's true. All right.
So we work very hard for it.
Indeed, indeed. All right. Let's talk a bit about your books as well. Your books, The Pizza Guide to Digital Marketing and Pizza and AI, have gained significant attention. Can you delve into the inspiration behind these titles and their key message?
Right. So the story with pizza started because in one of the conferences, I was supposed to instruct the audience about some concept, some complex topics. And then I use a pizza as a metaphor to explain the difficult concept. And everyone in the audience, they got the idea spot on. Boom, like that. And even the event organizer told me, look, this is very smart of the pizza. And it was just something that I didn't thought about. And then I realized, wow, everyone enjoy the explanation based on the pizza. That's amazing. And then again, and the next conference, next training, I started using the pizza more and more and more. Until a few years later, people saw me at other events and they told me, Christian, the pizza guy. And I realized, wow, the pizza is big. I couldn't expect it became so big that people recognize me as the pizza guy. So I keep pushing more on the pizza. And when it was the time to write the book, I spoke with few friends, etc., and with my editor, with my publisher. And then one of them told me, the pizza guide to digital marketing. Boom, that's crazy genius. And here we are. So that's why sometimes, as I say, initially, I was not too fancy about pizza because it's not professional. I mean, I'm the marketing lecturer. I've been teaching for so many years to the largest organization. Pizza is not professional. But again, when everyone tells you that pizza is amazing, then realize that pizza is amazing. Who am I to decide what's good and what's not? My customers decide for me. And that's it. Here we are. And then after the tremendous success of the pizza guide to digital marketing, everyone started getting crazy about artificial intelligence. And I was doing already training for the last 6 years about AI. I've been teaching the leadership team of the largest corporate on how to use artificial intelligence to help doing their job better. And that's, again, when it was about to write a book, there was no doubt it was going to have pizza in it. And then I brainstormed a little bit, pizza and that's it. So, and the job was done.
When I was thinking about it, I thought it came from your background from Italy. Then I was like, I'll ask this question for sure. At least I should.
Obviously, it comes from me. Everyone expect that Italians, every time they eat pizza, which is true, or pizza or pasta, which is for us, eating pizza or pasta, it's like a religion. You cannot miss it. And that's it. We joke about it. Everyone knows. And why not?
I think your background, your ancestral pizza knowledge helped you out with digital marketing as well.
Exactly.
Right. Coming to the end of this podcast, lastly, what advice would you give to aspiring digital marketers looking to make a significant impact in the industry? Since there are a lot of gurus, like you said. So what do you think would be the right approach going ahead?
The right approach is never do it for the money. Do it if you feel really passionate about it. And I remember a few years ago at one of the training, there was a guy that was a normal marketing guy, who was working for one of the leading agency in the world. And it was really thinking to abandon marketing because it was not recognized. His job was not recognized. So it was not motivated. After the training with me, he really got crazy passionate about digital marketing. And then he started putting heads down, looking everything online, really getting touch, devoted to digital marketing. And 2 years later, I was speaking at the conference and I met him. He was also speaking at the same conference and he became the chief digital officer of one of the largest advertising agency in the world.
Wow.
So that's from abandoning the company to becoming the chief digital officer of the largest media agency. So that's basically for me is remarkable. But again, he realized that this was going to be his mission.
Yes.
And because of digital allow you to measure the results that you are achieving. So for him becomes a must. Not only I do things and people like it or people don't like it, but I do things, I measure the results and I prove that what I've done was absolutely stunning.
I'm sure people would really find it interesting and they'll definitely reach out to you for more sessions.
Sure, definitely. I will post then my LinkedIn profile. Please follow me because I always post relevant stuff.
All right. Thank you,
Very
Christian,
good.
for humanizing the world of digital marketing and sharing your personal journey from a pioneer spirit to an influential figure in the industry. Your insights have brought a refreshing perspective to our discussion, and I'm confident our audience will appreciate the relatable approach you bring to mastering digital marketing. And like I said, it was an amazing and enchanting conversation as well. Before we conclude, could you leave our listeners with one key takeaway that is very essential for everyone? One key ingredient that you feel that makes your digital marketing campaign go great.
Right. I can tell you that if you're passionate about it, keep pushing, never give up.
All
Because
right.
this is what I was doing. Even if your boss doesn't understand, your partner doesn't understand, your client doesn't understand, if you really see the light in this, keep pushing. Just keep tweaking, trying. Because as I say, failing in digital marketing is very cheap. So you're not gonna create a massive damage. Allocate a small budget, a small portion of any digital marketing activity that you're doing into absolutely crazy trial and error. Something that nobody, not even yourself, knows what's gonna be the outcome. But if you dedicate 5% or 10% of that budget, you're not gonna die. But believe me, so many times you're gonna get shocked and surprised by the results you can get with a small budget doing something completely different than what you've been always doing. And then so it's worth definitely experimenting. That's my biggest takeaway.
This is one of the great insight that I've heard so far in the digital marketing space. So, listen,
Nice, I'm glad.
yeah, listeners, I hope you have been inspired with Christian's journey. And don't forget to follow him on in and go ahead and read his books as well, because there's a lot of knowledge like we had in this conversation as well. As we look forward, let's remember that behind every digital marketing campaign and strategies, there are real people, real needs. We eagerly anticipate the innovative ways Christian will continue to champion his human-centric approach in the digital space. Thank you so much once again, Christian, for coming up on the show.
You're welcome, Tamanna. It's been great sharing the knowledge with your listener and looking forward to have more chats in the future.
Indeed. It was a pleasure, and I make sure that we have more such conversations. Stay for more captivating discussions on the BT Show as we explore the intersection of humanity and marketing. And don't forget to catch up your favorite BT Show on your preferred audio platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music. Plus, we are now available on YouTube as well. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button and have fun. Until next time, let's embrace creativity and shape the future of the world. From all of us at Brand Talkies, stay tuned. Sayonara. Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.